Hello there. Welcome back to Jennie Designs with Paper. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I am working in my art journal, so get comfy and let's get crafty. So I am working from the Moody November mood board for the November Artsy Trio Facebook group. Lots of reds, lots of nature elements. I knew exactly where I wanted to go. As soon as I saw this, I knew exactly what I wanted to work with. So I have a bunch of supplies on my desk. I have this washi tape set, and it has this washi tape with mushrooms on it. So I am going to pull that in. There is an image that I thought was a mushroom. It could very well be a dandelion. I don't know. I have a whole bunch of little pieces of ephemera paper that I have gotten from various pages or packages of little ephemera kits. And I have this image of this red tree. This is a picture that I took in my yard. Where I live in Virginia, we have a bunch of varieties of trees and bushes that turn this bright crimson, magenta-y red as they change leaves in the autumn, and they are my favorite. And so I took a picture of that tree in particular as it was turning from green to red. And then they stay red for a while, and then they turn orange and fall off the tree. But anyway, and so that's what I wanted to use it for my kind of focal point idea. In order to create some texture for the background, I am laying down these ephemera pieces. Some of them are black and white. Some of them have shades of gray or red, varying butterflies, flowers, birds, text, just writing, all kinds of different papers, and I'm just covering up the entire piece of this mixed media paper. This is going to be about 5.5 inches by about 8.5 inches when it is all said and done. And now that I have them all adhered down, I am going to go ahead and heat set them with my heat tool. I'm going to blast that and get it nice and dry, flip it over to keep it from curling up, and then I'm going to go ahead and trim the excess paper off the edges with a pair of scissors. The scissors were on my desk. That's why I grabbed scissors instead of the paper trimmer. They were just already on my desk. Now that I've got that all trimmed off and I'm working on just the front side, I need to push these papers back just a bit. So I am going to put a little bit of gesso right here on my craft mat next to my, or on my workspace, add some water to it, and then quickly brush some gesso over the top of these papers. So the gesso will dry back a little bit less opaque. There we go, opaque. And so you'll see the texture, but you won't necessarily see all of the things. So this picture that I took of the tree in my front yard, I have removed all of the background from it by using one of those remove the background websites. And then I have printed it onto a piece of rice paper with my inkjet printer. I have a Canon printer that I use for photos. And the reason I chose rice paper is because I don't have to cut it out perfectly. As long as the edges around the trees are torn versus cut, they'll blend right on into that background. I did print this tree 3 different times in 3 different sizes because I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do. Did I want a grouping of the trees? Did I just want this one tree? I totally did not know. Sorry, I'm trying really hard not to yawn in your ear. But once I had them all ripped apart, I started going through the rest of the ephemera pieces that I had pulled out of my stash. I have some pictures of roses, some mushrooms, a couple of other fall leaves, all of which are represented in the mood board graphic. So this is what I just have to figure out how I want this to be. I did choose the tallest of my 3 trees and decided to go ahead and adhere that down on the left-hand side. I played with adding another short one at the bottom, but decided that instead I would add a collage of ephemera pictures there. And what's really funny is that all of these things that I have pulled out, I didn't even use all of them. These little mushrooms are some stickers that I really should have left the backing on. When you take the backing off, they kind of blend into the background a little bit more than I wanted. I did trim that red mushroom off to make it shorter than the black and white or the grayscale mushroom there. I opted not to use the roses. I did have a couple of leaves, one that was kind of orange, one that was kind of green. And then I've got this washi tape with the mushrooms on it as well that I'm going to kind of put down at the bottom as a grounding element. In my brain, I always feel like there has to be some grounding element. I don't know. And funny story, that's not exactly how I ended up putting things back together. To apply all of the ephemera to my art journal page, I am just using my gel medium again. I put a little bit on the page, a little on the back of the tissue paper, or the rice paper rather, and then I'm just going to put everything down and add the gel medium over the top of it. Like I said, these are stickers. I did peel the backs off. As I look at the page dry, I think maybe it would have been better to leave the backs on and just glue them down. Yeah, just, note to self. And the next time I do it, I'll leave the backs on and think, oh, I should have peeled those off, right? I am going to go ahead and layer this little cluster of ephemera together. I did end up kind of changing a little bit and sticking the orange leaf kind of down on the front because I had forgotten where I put it in the first place. Once I have those all stuck down, I'm going to go ahead and heat set those with my heat tool and trim off the edges, and voila, through the magic of TV, you did not have to watch that. And then I decided this upper right hand corner was a little bit blank, so I am going to take this smaller print of the tree. I'm going to tear the stem off a little bit so it looks a little bit less like a tree floating in the sky, or the background, whatever. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and adhere that with the gel medium. I am putting a little bit on the on my art journal page. I did not add any to the back of the image here this time. I don't know why. I just didn't. Maybe I wasn't as worried about it slipping around or something. I don't know. And then I want to create kind of a foggy edge. So do you remember when we were kids and we would get our family pictures taken and there was this thing called like a vignette, and it had kind of like this smoky, hazy, foggy border, and it made the pictures look all mysterious or extra special or something. I kind of wanted to go with that idea. So I'm using this archival ink. It is Plum. And I am using just a sponge ink blender to bring that onto the edges of my art journal page, creating kind of a foggy frame, kind of like that, the whole idea of moody November. That's a foggy. Novembers here are beautiful with all the colors, but there's lots of low-lying fog in the mornings as well. So that's kind of where I got that idea. So my quote, I printed on a piece of copy paper, just regular printer paper, and I cut it out with a tag die. I'm not sure why I went with the tag, but I did. I probably should have typed the quote a little bit more vertical so that I could put the tag right up and down, because I don't know. And then I went back and forth with whether or not I wanted to put some ribbon or string or something in the hole for the tag. But ultimately I ended up just kind of tucking it down here, kind of in the center to the right, to the top of my ephemera cluster there. I don't know, just because that's where I felt like it kind of needed to be. This quote says, "I see the turning of a leaf dancing in autumn sun and brilliant shades of crimson glowing when a day is done." And it's by Maddie Elliott. And I thought it was perfect for that kind of red and November theme that we're getting from the mood board here. I did kind of debate covering up that tag end with some ephemera or a piece of one of those trees, but decided to just go ahead and leave it. I'm going to give it a quick dry with my heat tool. It was peeling up just a little bit, so I'm going to fix all the edges and dry those back. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a background on the back of my art journal page. This is something I have done for the Artsy Trio pages since the very first page, when the back of my art journal page was super messy and I had to cover it up. So I am just going to use this piece of red pattern paper and my double-sided ATG tape and tape that down in place. And then I will use my trimmer to go ahead and trim off all of those edges. I did there's a border on this paper. It's a scrapbook paper, so I kind of did not put it up against the edges. And then I flipped it over and used my hands to really burnish that adhesive onto the back of the paper. So again, once I have that all attached, I can go ahead and move things around my desk so that I can get my trimmer out. I've got gel medium and gesso and a pot of water and an ATG gun and all the things there at the head of my desk. So gotta move all those things around and get the trimmer out so I can trim off those edges. And once I have the edges trimmed off, it is a little bit easy to see the white core of the paper. So I am going to take that ink blending sponge and just go around the edges. I did need to put a little bit more ink into it because this was a fresh blending foam. I've never used this before. So it did not have a stash of old ink left in it to squeeze out. But I am just covering up the white edges and kind of final, what's the right word? Completing or finishing that frame. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the mood board. So you can kind of see that picture in the center on the left that I felt like looked like a mushroom, but now that I'm looking at it, maybe there's a dandelion, but I don't know, it still looks like a mushroom to me. I love the dark red in this mood board. I did go back and forth with having some kind of a woman in red on my page or a woman in black and white surrounded by my red trees, but ultimately I just kind of stuck with the nature theme. I am going to put this through my hole punch and punch my holes in it so that I can put it into my binder. Super quick video today. Well, quick for you. I did speed it up, and but it still was not a super long page. I hope you enjoyed the page, and I love this quote, and it's perfect for Virginia in November. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I have a couple of other videos here for you to watch, as well as a subscribe button. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you did. Leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and have a really great day.